The comms array hissed with static as Captain Sarah Chen gazed at the holographic display suspended above her command console. The bridge of the UES Defiance thrummed with a taut, subdued energy. Crew members attended to their stations with focus, but Sarah's eyes stayed fixed on the timestamp glowing in sharp red across the display. Transmission received 14 hours ago. 14 hours. 14 hours since they'd heard anything from the colony on Kepler-4 for it to be. "Play it again," Sarah ordered. Her voice leveled despite the chill creeping into her gut. Lieutenant Martinez's fingers moved deftly over his console. The speakers crackled, then filled with the frantic voice of Colonial Administrator David Park, a man Sarah had known since her academy days. His typical composed tone was shattered, replaced by barely restrained panic. "Mayday, Mayday. Yes. Is New Haven Colony calling any Earth vessel? We are under attack by unknown hostiles. Repeat, we are under attack?" The transmission fragmented with bursts of static. David's voice returned, strained and desperate. "They came out of nowhere ships. Like nothing in our records. No responses to hails. They're just killing everyone." The sound degraded further, layered with explosions and agonized screams. David's voice cracked as he continued. "Sarah, if you're out there..." His words faltered. "They destroyed the Centauri delegation first. The Arcturons tried to help evacuate the children, but the aliens killed them all. Every single one." Another explosion, nearer this time. David's voice became a ragged whisper. "Tell Earth. Tell them we tried. Tell them what they did to our friends." The transmission dissolved into static. Sarah's jaw. Titan New Haven Colony wasn't just another outpost. It was humanity's beacon of interstellar unity. Home to 50,000 humans and the inaugural Elixios diplomatic stations of Earth's closest allies, the Gentle Centauri Collective and the wise Arcturian Council. For 15 years, it stood as proof that coexistence between species was not only possible, but transformative. Now it was gone. Captain came the grim voice of Commander James Walsh, her first officer. He approached her command chair, his weathered face set in a deep frown. "Long-range sensors confirm it. The colony's energy signature has gone dark. No life signs detected." Sarah rose from her chair, her hands trembling with suppressed fury. Around her, the bridge crew turned to her, their faces a mixture of fear and determination. These were the best of humanity, volunteers who'd chosen the perilous task of defending Earth's far-flung colonies. They looked to her for orders, for hope. But Sarah's mind replayed images of Centauri children, their bioluminescent art glowing with innocent joy, and Elder Zorro of the Arcturian Council, whose lessons on friendship had resonated across cultures. All of them children, leaders' friends gone. "Set course for New Haven Colony." "Maximum burn," Sarah commanded, her voice cutting through the tension like tempered steel. "And send a priority alpha transmission to Earth Command. Tell them..." She paused, weighing her next words. "Tell them someone just made the gravest mistake in galactic history." The Defiance shuddered as its massive engines roared to life, propelling the cruiser into faster-than-light travel. But Sarah already knew they were too late to save anyone. This wasn't a rescue, it was a reconnaissance for a war that had already begun, Ambassador. Threshka's voice resonated with harmonic undertones, a musical quality unique to Centauri's speech. Our younglings were learning human concepts of art and literature. They were, he hesitated, struggling to find the human words. They were the future of our friendship. Admiral Hayes nodded gravely. "Shh. We've also lost contact with the Arcturian Cultural Exchange Station. Elder Zorak and his entire delegation, 12 of their most esteemed philosophers and scientists are presumed gone." Dr. Vasquez leaned forward, her face pale. "Marcus, in 30 years of xenological research, I've never encountered a species that kills indiscriminately. Every intelligent race we've met has some capacity for communication or diplomacy. What kind of beings attack a peaceful colony without warning? The kind that need to be stopped," Fleet Admiral Torres replied. Her voice weighted with hard-earned experience. "I've reviewed Captain Chen's preliminary findings from the Defiance. Whatever attacked New Haven used advanced weapons technology we can't match. Energy readings don't align with any known physics models, and they were thorough. Not a single structure left, not one survivor. General Kim tapped her wrist display, projecting tactical data into the air above the table. The 4th Colonial Defense Fleet is mobilized 12 heavy cruisers, 36 destroyers, and full support vessels.
Admiral!
We're flying blind here. We don't know what we're facing. Admiral Hayes turned to the star map hovering above the table. New Haven Colony was marked by a glaring red X, situated at the edge of human space, surrounded by vast, unexplored regions. Somewhere in that darkness, an enemy moved. We know 3 things, Hayes began, his voice cutting through the tension. In the room, first, they possess superior technology. Second, they attack without warning or communication. Third, he turned to Ambassador Threshka. They just killed the children and civilians of 3 species. Threshka's bioluminescent. Patterns shifted to a deep crimson, a rare color in Centauri culture, symbolizing righteous fury. Admiral Hayes, he began, his tone deliberate. The collective has never asked humanity for military aid. We are a peaceful people. But these beings... His translucent skin flickered angrily. They have committed what your kind calls a crime against sentience itself. Threshka gestured toward the map, his elongated fingers tracing the region where New Haven once thrived. That colony was a symbol, a bridge between our species. Its destruction is not merely an attack. On lives but a declaration of war against peace and cooperation itself. Dr. Vasca spoke softly, but with weight. The Arcturans sent their wisest elders to New Haven. In their culture, harming an elder is the gravest sin. If the Arcturan High Council learns of this, they already know, Hayes interrupted. An hour ago, I received a priority transmission from Arcturus Prime. The High Council is displeased. Fleet Admiral Torres arched an eyebrow. Displeased? The Arcturans are the most patient beings in the known galaxy. They've never shown aggression to anyone. They've also never seen their spiritual leaders murdered while teaching human children about wisdom, Hayes replied, his voice hard. The Council's message was brief. The circle of peace has been broken. The teachers of wisdom cry out for justice. We stand with our human friends. General Kim let out a low whistle. So we have the full backing of both our allies. The question is, what do we do with it? Admiral Hayes walked to the large viewport, Earth's blue marble suspended in the void beyond, somewhere past the orbit of Pluto. Captain Chen and the crew of the Defiance sifted through the ruins of humanity's greatest diplomatic achievement. We're going to find out who did this, Hayes said, his reflection ghost-like in the reinforced transfer steel. We're going to learn everything about them. And then turned back to the table, his gaze steely. We're going to show them why you never harm Earth's friends. The war room descended into silence, save for the hum of life. Support systems. But in that silence, something was brewing, something that would ripple across the galaxy. Touching civilizations unfamiliar with humans, Centauri, or Arcturans, it was a moment poised to redefine the balance of power in the stars forever. The attackers hadn't just destroyed New Haven Colony, they had dismantled it, piece by piece, as if intent on erasing every trace of the peace that once flourished there. Report, Sarah called, her voice sharp as she jetted toward Lieutenant Martinez, stationed 50 meters away and pouring. Over the remains of the colony's corrupted data cores. I'm extracting fragments from the backup systems, Captain Martinez replied, his tone strained. Most of it's corrupted, but he paused, his voice lowering. Captain, you need to see this. Propelling herself over to Martinez's position, Sarah crouched beside him. His portable analysis unit was connected to a partially intact data core. The holographic display flickered to life. Showing grainy security footage of the attack, the timestamp read 0347 local time. The night shift was on duty, maintaining the atmospheric processors and overseeing the agricultural domes. Everything looked routine. Then the stars went out. Sarah's breath caught as enormous, ominous shapes eclipsed the starfield above the colony. The ships were like nothing in any database. With flowing curves intertwined with crystalline structures, that seemed to distort light itself. They moved with an eerie elegance, as though swimming through the void rather than flying. "No energy signatures," Martinez reported, his brow furrowed. "No engine emissions, no electromagnetic traces, like they're made of." He hesitated. Dark matter. On the footage, the first weapons fired. The beams weren't quite light, weren't quite energy, but where they struck, matter. Simply ceased to exist, not destroyed, not vaporized, just gone. "They're not here to conquer," Sarah murmured, her voice a hollow whisper. "They're sterilizing." Recording continued. The footage showed human colonists fleeing through the streets, scrambling toward emergency shelters. Centauri families clung to one another, their bioluminescent skin flashing frantic distress patterns. Arcturian elders stood resolute, guiding human children to safety, even as chaos swallowed the colony. The feed switched to the diplomatic quarter. The horror intensified. Smaller crafts emerged from the attackers' vessels, sleek, predatory shapes that moved like living creatures. These hunters ignored fleeing humans, instead targeting the aliens with unerring precision. They knew, Sarah breathed, her throat tightening. They knew exactly who was here. "Captain, you need to see this," Walsh's voice crackled. Over the Sarah followed his transponder signal to the ruins of the Centauri Cultural Center. Walsh stood near a massive crater that had once been the courtyard. But he wasn't examining the destruction. His attention was fixed on something etched into the scorched metal floor. A message. The symbols weren't human. Centauri or Arcturian. "It's writing," Walsh said, his voice heavy with unease. "Someone left us a message." Sarah activated her suit's translation protocols. The symbols remained indecipherable. Martinez. "Bring the xenolinguistics package and patch me through to Dr. Vasquez on Earth." As they waited for the interstellar connection, Sarah studied the alien script. The symbols were elegant, yet dispassionate. Like mathematical formulas imbued with an unsettling artistry, beauty without warmth. "Captain Chen." Dr. Vasquez's voice finally crackled through. "I'm seeing your data feed now. These symbols." She paused, her tone troubled. "Have you never encountered a language like this? Its structure suggests a highly advanced civilization, but there's something unnerving about it." "How so?" Sarah asked, still examining the intricate designs. "It's too perfect," Vasquez replied. "Every line, every curve, it's mathematically flawless. It's as if they were created by something that understands language only as pure, cold information. Give me a few hours. I might be able to Dr. Vasquez's transmission." Abruptly cut to static. Sarah's heads-up display flared with warning signals as her suit detected massive energy signatures approaching from the outer system. "Captain?" Martinez's voice was tight with fear. "Long-range sensors are showing multiple contacts bound directly for our position. Whatever attacked the colony, they're coming back." The Defiance was a formidable warship, but if the attackers wielded the kind of technology capable of erasing an entire colony without survivors, it wouldn't be enough. "All hands emergency jump preparation," Sarah commanded, her tone sharp and unyielding. "We need to get this data back to Earth Command," as the crew scrambled to execute the emergency protocols. Sarah spared one final glance at the alien message seared into New Haven Colony's scorched metal ground. She didn't need Dr. Vasquez to decode it to grasp its meaning. This wasn't merely an assault. It was a declaration, and somewhere out in the endless darkness between the stars, an enemy watched humanity's reaction with cold, calculating interest. The war for survival had begun, but Earth didn't know it. Yet, Chapter 4. The Weight of Worlds 3 weeks after the New Haven massacre. Admiral Hayes stood in the observation deck of Earth's largest naval shipyard. Below, hundreds of construction drones swarmed the skeletal frame of the UES Retribution, the most massive vessel ever conceived by human hands. At a kilometer long, the dreadnought was designed with a singular purpose: to bring the fight to whoever had destroyed New Haven Colony. Hayes wasn't alone. Beside him stood Ambassador Threshka, and for the first time in recorded history, an Arcturian High Counselor had come to Earth. Counselor Vexnan was ancient, even by Arcturian standards. Her crystalline body shimmered with swirling patterns of light, a silent testament to nearly 2,000 years of accumulated wisdom. Her 3-meter-tall form radiated in emotion. Humans had never seen in her kind before the desire for vengeance. The translation is complete. Dr. Vasquez announced as she entered, clutching her tablet with trembling hands. Admiral, you need to know what it says. Hayes turned from the bustling activity of the shipyards. Tell me. Dr. Vasquez's voice was barely above a whisper. The weak makers have been cleansed. Infection spreads no further. The galaxy remembers purity. The room fell silent, broken only by the distant hum of construction. Threshka's bioluminescent patterns shifted to a deep, sorrowful purple tinged with a simmering anger. Weak makers, he repeated, his harmonic voice taking on a hard edge. They killed our younglings because they believed friendship made us weak. Counselor Vexnon spoke for the first time, her voice like crystalline bells touched by winter wind. In our memory, which spans 50,000 years, we have never encountered hatred this pure. They do not seek territory or resources. They seek to annihilate the very concept of cooperation between species. Hayes felt the weight of 3 civilizations pressing on his shoulders. Dr. Vasquez, what else have we learned? Their energy signatures suggest technology at least a millennium beyond anything we have. Vasquez replied, her voice strained. But there's more. Their attack patterns, targeting diplomatic areas first. This wasn't their first time. She activated her holographic display, projecting a 3-dimensional map of local space. I've analyzed historical data from deep space monitoring stations. She continued. Over the past century, there have been 17 instances of sudden communication blackouts in various systems. Brief energy spikes, followed by nothing. Hayes felt the implication hit him like a blow. 17 worlds. 17 civilizations, Vasquez corrected. We didn't investigate because they were beyond our technological reach. We assumed they were natural phenomena. But now, with the data from New Haven, she hesitated, her face pale. Admiral, I believe we've been observing genocide on a galactic scale. Threshka approached the holographic display, his long fingers tracing the dead systems. A pattern, he murmured, a cleansing. They move from system to system, eliminating any species that dares cooperate with others. But why target us? Hayes demanded. Humanity has only been in space for 60 years. We've barely left our solar system. Vexenon's crystalline form pulsed with deep red light, an Arctron expression of profound realization. Because we chose to be your friends, the Centauri shared their knowledge with you. Together, our 3 species represent something they cannot tolerate, proof that life can coexist and grow stronger through unity. The observation deck speakers crackled, breaking the heavy silence. Admiral Hayes exchanged glances with his alien allies before striding into the command center. Chaos reigned as officers shouted reports across the room, massive displays streaming tactical data from every corner of human space. Report. Hayes barked as he entered. Fleet Admiral Torres turned from the central display, her face grim. Long-range reconnaissance has detected massive energy signatures at the edge of the Centauri system, sir. They're not just returning, they're coming in force. The tactical display showed a chilling sight. Hundreds of the same organic crystalline ships that had obliterated New Haven. Our raid in flawless formation around the Centauri home system's outer planets. Estimated time to planetary approach? Hayes asked. 72 hours? Torres replied. The Centauri Collective has begun evacuation, but their homeworld holds over 3 billion people. Can't move them all in time. Ambassador Threshka stepped forward, his translucent body pulsing with the deep blue of unyielding determination. Admiral Hayes, my people have lived in peace for over 1,000 years. We have no warships, no weapons designed for space combat. Only our knowledge, culture, and friendship with humanity. He paused, meeting Hayes's gaze with steady resolve. Right. But if these beings think friendship makes us weak, then let us show them the true strength of standing together. Counselor. Vexenon's crystalline form resonated with a sound like a bell struck in frozen air. The Arcturn High Council has decided. Our construction fleets are moving to aid your shipyards. Our defensive technologies will be shared freely. And our warrior philosophers, who have not raised arms in 10 millennia, remember the old ways. scanned the faces of his officers, humans who had signed up to explore the stars, not to fight a galactic war. Yet he saw the same indomitable spirit that had driven humanity from the caves of Earth to the heavens, the stubborn refusal to surrender, even against impossible odds, General Kim Hayes called. "How fast can we mobilize the entire colonial defense fleet?" 60 hours if we strip the outer systems of protection, Kim replied without hesitation. "Do it." Torres, status on the Retribution, hull complete. Engines and basic systems are online. Weapon systems are still being installed, but she can fight. Hayes turned to the tactical display, studying the enemy force gathering at the edge of Centauri. Space. Hundreds of ships against humanity's meager fleet and 2 species that had chosen peace over war for millennia. The odds were grim. The enemy was more advanced, more numerous, and centuries more experienced in annihilation. But they had made one critical error. They had attacked Earth's friends. Send a message to every human ship, every Centauri vessel, and every Arcturian craft in the galaxy, Hayes ordered, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade. Tell them the age of peaceful expansion is over. Tell them that 3 species who chose friendship over fear are about to show the galaxy what that choice truly means. And tell them that when someone hurts Earth's friends, Earth keeps its promises. Command Center erupted into action as orders spread to every corner of known space. Yet Hayes stayed at the tactical display, watching the enemy fleet draw closer. Somewhere in those ships, beings who bent space and time to their will, prepared to add 3 more species to their list of extinct civilizations. They were about to learn that some alliances are forged in fire and tested in the darkest voids. And Earth was very, very good at keeping its promises. Epilogue. The promise kept 6 months after the Battle of Centauri Prime. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of the rebuilt New Haven colony. Through the viewport, she watched Centauri children playing under artificial sunlight alongside human and Arcturian kids. The new colony was larger and more diverse than its predecessor, fortified by the most advanced defensive systems their alliance could devise, but most importantly, it was alive with laughter, learning, and hope. "The memorial is beautiful," Ambassador Threshka said as he joined her, his bioluminescent patterns a calm blend of gentle blues and greens. Yet Sarah knew he would forever carry the scars of loss. They both looked toward the memorial garden, where 17 Centauri younglings, 12 Arcturian elders, and 50,000 human colonists were remembered. It wasn't just a monument to the fallen. It was a promise to the living. "Never again," Sarah murmured. "Admiral Hayes' task force has liberated 3 more systems this month," Sreshka said, his bioluminescent patterns brightening slightly. "Each time they find the same pattern worlds cleansed of species that dared to cooperate, but now," his harmonic voice carried undertones of satisfaction. "Now the cleansers are finding something they never expected. Survivors." Sarah finished. The Battle of Centauri Prime had lasted 18 grueling hours and changed the galaxy forever. The enemy fleet had arrived expecting 3 weak divided species. Instead, they encountered the combined might of the human Centauri-Arcturian alliance. The cleansers learned the hard way that Centauri biotechnology, human engineering, and Arcturian wisdom created weapons and defenses they couldn't counter. They discovered that species who chose cooperation over conquest fought with a ferocity born of protecting not just their kind, but their friends' children. Most importantly, they learned that friendship didn't weaken these allies. It made them unstoppable. The Galactic Council has officially recognized the alliance as a protectorate power. Threshka continued. 17 other species have requested membership in the last month alone. It seems our demonstration at Centauri Prime has inspired others. Sarah smiled, recalling reports of isolated worlds reaching out to long-feared neighbors that had never considered cooperation, were now forming defensive pacts and cultural exchanges. The Cleansers' campaign of terror had backfired spectacularly. In trying to prevent interspecies unity, they had triggered the largest alliance in galactic history. "What about the Cleansers themselves?" Sarah asked. Threshka's patterns darkened slightly. Admiral Hayes's forces have captured several of their ships. Dr. Vasquez's team is working on communication. He paused. They are a fascinating and terrible species, Captain. Ancient, beyond measure, technologically unparalleled, and utterly convinced that interspecies cooperation is a contagion threatening the galaxy's purity. Fanatics, Sarah murmured. Threshka nodded. For millions of years, they roamed the galaxy, eliminating any species that formed alliances. They prevented thousands of partnerships, countless opportunities for growth and understanding. Through the viewport, Sarah watched children of different species collaborating on an art project. Human creativity, Centauri biotechnology, and Arcturian philosophy combined to create something none could have achieved alone. And now?
Oh.
She asked. Now, Threshka said, his voice resonating with harmonic overtones of satisfaction. They face a galaxy that has learned the true strength of friendship. The alliance grows every month. Species once paralyzed by fear are joining together, sharing knowledge, protecting each other's children. The cleansers created the very thing they feared most. Galactic community united by cooperation. Sarah's communicator chimed with a message from Admiral Hayes aboard the UEES Promise Keeper, Captain Chen. Hayes's voice came through with a grim satisfaction. We've received surrender offers from 12 cleansed fleet commanders. Word is, spreading resistance is becoming inadvisable. The species they spent millennia dividing are now hunting them together. There was a pause. They didn't just attack 3 species, Hayes continued, his tone hardening. They attacked the concept of friendship itself. Friendship, it turns out, has far more advocates than they expected. As the transmission ended, Sarah turned to Threshka. Do you think we'll ever truly defeat them? Threshka's pattern shifted to a thoughtful gold. Sarah, I believe we already have, not through weapons or tactics, but by proving them. Wrong. They believed cooperation weakened species. We've shown the galaxy that cooperation makes us stronger than any of us could be alone. Outside, the mixed species children completed their projecta sculpture that captured and refracted light into stunning patterns of beauty. It was something no single species could have created alone. Together they had forged something new, and extraordinary. Every world we liberate, Threshka said, his voice steady. Every species that joins the alliance, every child born into a galaxy that values cooperation, is proof they were wrong. And to be wrong about something so fundamental is the only defeat that truly matters. Sarah nodded, understanding. The war would continue for years, perhaps decades. Scattered cleansed fleets still haunted the galaxy, and countless worlds remained. Fearful, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. Humanity had kept its promise. Earth's friends were safe. Their friendship had become the foundation of a brighter future. The galaxy would never be the same.